Hey y'all, it's your girl Fia. Fia's Talk Time. So, I have a question. I've been asking the question, but I did get a few little votes on my poll question. But the question was, do you guys celebrate, like national couples holidays? Like, National Girlfriend's Day, National Boyfriend's Day, um, like Valentine's Day, mm, National Relationship Day, stuff like that. Um, I, I mean, like me and my significant other, we don't just because most of the I feel as though, I mean, let's be truthfully honest. The majority of these holidays and all that stuff are really just to capitalize off the money and for people to you basically spend their money. That's about it. Now, I don't think there's nothing wrong with doing anything for your partner or anything of this sort because, you know, me and my boyfriend, we do things for each other daily, on the daily. You know what I mean? To show each other, our appreciation, anything, just in general. So, I mean, like, we don't make it a big thing just because society says we should. Like, why that one day out of the year, you know, you got to make it all, extra and big. Granted, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it because I actually love seeing the things that people do for their, significant other and things like that. I love it. I do. Even, not even just, for couples days, you know what I mean? Like holidays in general. We don't really, get into too much of that unless it's, birthday. We have an anniversary, but to be truthfully honest, neither of us remember the exact day. We know how long. That's all that matters. I mean, when you really think about it, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with, obviously keeping track and all that stuff. Please, by all means, do. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. However, I also think it's nothing wrong with just, you know, taking your time and what you and your partner feels comfortable with and what works for y'all, right? Anyway, I know I need to take these out. It's time for them to go. Anyway, um, but just things like that. I feel as though, like I'm way more confident in myself and more, aware of myself and, what I do, as a mother, as a friend, as a girlfriend, just as a woman in general. To the point where I don't really need the extra recognition just because everybody else is doing it. I've never really lived my life that way. Like, I've never been a person that wanted to do things just because everybody else did them. Or, I didn't like things just because everybody else liked them. Hell, when I was a teenager, you know, I didn't even like wearing the same clothes. Like, I promise you, if I, was out or whatever and I seen somebody with the same shirt, pants as me, I never wore it again. I like to stand out and be unique and be myself and just literally, do what I like to do. Granted, it's, some point or another, I did struggle with, wanting to fit in and, wanting to do, the things that my friends thought were cool or whatever. Like, even though, the peer pressure, like, yeah, I was a victim of it, but not really because I still knew when to stay in my ground. When I was not comfortable doing something, I didn't do it unless I felt comfortable doing it. my friends that I hung around, you know, in my teenage years, most of them I still hang. I still consider them friends and all that stuff. They they family. You, you know what I mean? But they was smoking weed, having sex, doing this, everything. They were a little bit younger than me. I was like the mom of the group before I even had kids. So, like, I didn't, start smoking weed and all that stuff until I was like 18. Just because my friends was doing it didn't really necessarily mean I wanted to do it. Now, when I wanted to, did I get some contact cards or whatever? Most likely, I did. But I felt like it wasn't the same. You know, I drank. That was one thing I did do. That was one thing I did do. You know, but I don't necessarily think there's nothing wrong, with doing what, is trendy or, popular or out or in. I just think that we as people, like, I feel as though a lot of us, compare ourselves to these other people and these other things because that's what's in the, that's what's being pushed and, sold and, marketed to us to do. When in reality, who says I had to be like you? Who says I had to, you know what I mean? I had to have this and that just because you had it at this age or that age or, you know what I mean? No, everybody's progress and journey is different. Everybody's timing is different. Just because, this person is, getting their blessings now, that's when they're meant to get it. You know what I mean? They did the work or whatever they needed to do in their life to get where they are. There's nothing wrong with it. Granted, I know we all have our own dreams, our own goals, our own inspirations, and the things that we want to do. And a lot of times we don't, you know, do them, or we put a lot of stress on ourselves because we're basing it off of the timeline of other people. Not all of us.